Hello everybody, how are you doing today? And welcome back to the garden. It's an easy episode today. We're gonna be potting on all the flower seedlings. Let's go. Okay, and here we are, part 2 of the video. After sorting out the greenhouse, I need to sort out my seedlings now. This is all flower seedlings. I have some marigolds, two different types, cosmos and hollyhocks. They need to go into individual pots. I hope that video gonna work with all this wind that suddenly started. I don't know where it came from. No, that's not gonna work. Let's move into the greenhouse. Okay, I think it's safer in the greenhouse. There's not that much wind here. I don't know what's happening. Suddenly it just got windy. But anyway, we can continue here in the greenhouse. As I said just a minute ago, if the sound was working, I will be potting on all my flowers, all the seedlings. I have some hollyhocks, two types of marigolds, and some cosmos. They all need to go in separate pots. That's going to give them more space. They can grow a bit bigger still until I plant them out in the garden. When they are so small, I'm risking losing majority of them to slugs and snails. That's why I need to pot them on. It's a easy enough process really. I have my gloves. I have my pots. They are 5 cm pots. That's the size I use for almost everything. And I have bucket of soil. I dug it out from the field just outside my garden. I only have a bucket here. There's a full wheelbarrow outside the greenhouse, but I can't fit it here. So we'll see for how many pots this soil is gonna last before I need to refill it. But yeah, I grew them from seeds. They must be about a month old, I would say. You can go back through my videos. I'm sure there's a one showing how I'm sowing the seeds. But now it's time to repot them. Let's start with the hollyhocks. And I just realized I don't have any tools again, no trowel. The hands have to be enough. I'm too lazy to go and pick up anything else. So all we need is a pot. Just fill it up loosely with soil. And we need our seedlings. It would be easier if I had a spoon or something sharp. But maybe I can just tip it all out and separate the plant like that. The roots are already coiling at the bottom, so it's high time for the plants to be repotted. And after that, just gently separate each seedling. They are quite robust plants, the hollyhocks, I've noticed. Actually, let me do it differently. Because the soil is a bit dry, it's crumbling every time I'm trying to make a hole. So I will fill the pot halfway through. Place the seedling in it and refill it with soil. Okay, and that should do it. It's one done. God knows how many more to go. I think that's the first year I'm growing hollyhocks from seeds. Last year I got a tiny seedlings from work, collected some seeds after it finished flowering, collected some extra seeds from my work, just some nice plants that I saw growing, and this year I'm growing my own from seeds. All right, there's 2. It's quite easy really to separate them. They have quite substantial root system, but they are not clinging to each other like some plants. Mainly lettuce. That's a pain when you're trying to pot on lettuce. That's why I almost never do it. But those beauties seem much more robust. Oh, it's getting hot in the greenhouse already. Must be close to 30 degrees. But it's way too windy to record anything outside, so we need to survive the greenhouse. I'm not quite sure how many of those flowers I need really. There's not that much space in the ornamental garden. Seems like every nook and cranny is already occupied by something, but I will find some space somewhere. All right, let me continue with those. I'm not quite sure how many is here left. About 8-10 more plants, and then I'll catch you up when I'm doing the next tray. That's going to be probably cosmos. Okay, and here we are. It's a full tray of hollyhocks. They all gonna need proper watering. I'm gonna do it in a sec. I ended up with, what is it, 3 times 6, 18 plants. I think that's plenty enough. I just picked the strongest one. There's 2 or 3 weaklings that I left out. So that's my hollyhocks, and now I'm gonna do the same with the cosmos and then continue with the marigolds. I'm also thinking I can see down there in the greenhouse my zucchinis and pumpkin germinated as well, and I put a couple of seeds in each pot, so I'll try to separate them and plant them into individual pots just to be on the safe side. I don't need that many plants of zucchini and pumpkin. It's better safe than sorry. So let me just water those plants. They're gonna live in the greenhouse for the time being. I don't have any other space to put them really, so they need to survive in the greenhouse. They'll enjoy it. Also, I just wanted to mention I'm using those just to hold my pots. It's much easier to carry the whole bunch in one go. I got it for free in one of the garden centers. They were just throwing them away, so I picked 2 of them. It's a very handy thing. Not the strongest one, but the other one I was using for about 3 years. It's starting to break now. That's another same type. Sadly, they didn't have any more of those, but that should last me for a while, and it fits my pots exactly. All right, so now with the announcements out of the way, let's do my cosmos. I don't remember where I picked the seeds from. That was some random plants, nice looking plant growing. I just picked the seed head by the end of the season when it was ripening, collected some seeds. So I didn't have that many of them, but there's still about 15-20 plants here. So I'll try to repot all of them. I do like cosmos. And it's gonna be the same process as with hollyhocks. First of all, let me get those plants out. This seems a much more fragile plant than the hollyhocks. Same story, the roots are starting to coil at the bottom of the pot, so it's a good time to repot it. Okay, so we have our pot, half filled with soil. And we have first seedling. Try not to hold the seedlings by the stem, they don't like it. It's very easy to damage the stem. If you damage the leaf, even if you pull the leaf off, the plant can always grow more. But if you damage the stem, that's it for the seedling. You need another one. I don't remember what happened to my own cosmos. I had so many of them one year, and then suddenly they all disappeared. They were self-seeding themselves for quite a few years, and one year they just disappeared, and I wasn't collecting any seeds, relying on them to self-seed. So now I'm wiser than that. I will be collecting my seeds from the cosmos going forward. They are lovely, fluffy plants. Even without flowering, they look nice. Perfect for my cottage garden. Some of them are quite sturdy and tough already. So with the bigger one, I can risk holding it by the stem. But this one, as you can see, it's quite sturdy plant already. Okay, so let me continue with this bunch, and then I can move to marigolds. I'm not gonna make you watch me doing all the marigolds, it's the same process as well, but I will catch you up when I'm doing my zucchinis and pumpkins. Alright, so all the flowers are done. I'm gonna show you all this mess in a second, but now I can move to my pumpkins and zucchinis. I'm running out of pots, which is annoying. And for the pumpkins and zucchinis, I want to use slightly bigger pots. They are big, fast-growing plants. So they are at this stage at the moment, just seed leaves, no true leaf yet, just the beginning. Those are green zucchini, and there are 2 or 3 plants in most of the pots. 2 of them are single. So they're gonna stay like that. The other thing is, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna mix them all up. So fingers crossed, by recording it all, I will know what's what. But we'll see. As I said, there's 3 plants in this pot, so we're gonna split it up and put it in 3 separate pots. And I think I'm gonna leave them just here on the bed next to the tomatoes. So, note to self, we're gonna start with green zucchinis, follow with my own pumpkins, and then Uchiki Kuri pumpkin at the end. Sounds like a plan? You don't need labels. And the story is really the same. I'm gonna take it all out, break apart the soil, and plant them individually. As with everything else, I'm using my own soil, garden soil. I don't see a point in buying compost. Okay, they are much more fragile plant than the flowers. That's one. If you're doing this, try to be as gentle as possible. So this is one of the seedlings, and like with the flowers, I filled the pot halfway up. I'll put the seedling in, try to hold it by the leaf, and fill it up with soil. And that's one done. This is way more zucchini than a person can eat really, but I guess it's better safe than sorry. With zucchinis you are bound to lose a couple of them to the slugs and snails. They should be growing really fast now with all the heat we are getting. Well, heat, let's not be too generous, it's just warm. 26 today, 27 maximum, about 30 degrees in a greenhouse. The one word of advice, if you're planning to transplant your seedlings, it's much easier to do it when they are really tiny. The bigger the plant, the more chances there are it's gonna fail. But with seedlings like that, they have plenty of energy and they want to grow as fast as possible. So they tend to stay alive after transplanting. Okay, so those are my zucchinis. Let's do my pumpkins now. Those are my saved seeds from last year. I don't know the name of the pumpkin. I think I found it in the farmer's market, if I remember correctly. I like the taste, so I saved the seeds. And I have 3 pots, 6 plants of Uchiki Kuri. Is that how you pronounce it? So they're gonna get, well, I have only 3 pots, so we're gonna do 3 plants separate. I really need to go to some garden center. They usually have 3 pots by the entrance somewhere. They are usually cheap plastic pots, tend to be single use, but it seems I can usually get a couple of years of use out of those cheap pots. Okay, and I'm done with transplanting for today and for a while, hopefully. Let me organize those pots and I'll show you how the greenhouse looks like. Again, crowded. Okay, and here we are. The greenhouse is getting full again. I have all my squash zucchinis on that side of the bed next to the tomatoes. As I said before, the first section is green zucchini, then is winter squash, and at the end over there is another type of winter squash. All the flowers are in the individual pots. There's 18 hollyhocks, 18 cosmos, and about 12 or 15 each marigolds, small and big version. I still have some marigolds left, but I don't have any more pots, so I'll let them grow here in this trays. I might transplant them directly into the ground later on. But for now, the transplanting is done. The next one on the list, soon enough, will be my sweet peppers when they grow a bit more. They're growing very fast now in the warmth. The gherkins and cucumbers destined for the greenhouse are in the individual pots. I did plant out all of the sunflowers except 2 pots. I planted the sunflowers in some random places all over the garden, so we'll see how many of them are gonna survive. But I think that's my planting out and sorting out the greenhouse session done for today. Thank you very much for watching. That's all I have for you today, and I'll see you back in the garden very soon. Bye.